Welcome to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. I am Gyi from Attorney Sync, and I am on track for my New Year's resolution of reading 50 books.
And I'm Conrad Som from Mockingbird, and I missed my New Year's resolution last year, and I've upped the ante and just done it again.
And welcome again to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, where we don't just talk about Conrad and Gyi's resolution failures. We talk legal marketing. And Conrad, Happy New Year to you. I know, how long do you wish people Happy New Year? We're recording here on January 13th. By the time people hear this, they're going to be well on to Valentine's Day. How long do we wish people Happy New Year?
I'm up until midnight on the 31st. I mean, move on, dude, right? Like, it is time to start. And I mean this, like, let me stretch the analogy. If you are still in your annual planning process for your law firm right now, you are at least 13 days too late.
Yes, you are already into 2026 now. And if you're living a 90-day world, you're almost halfway, but you'll be more than halfway through the first
you're 5%'s over and you haven't even figured out what you're doing. So get on it.
What are you excited about this year, Conrad?
What am I excited about this year? I thought we were going to talk about I'm excited about...
You're not excited about your resolutions?
I'm not. Listen, I'll tell you this. This is an indication that I have a very mature and outstanding relationship with my wife. I said to her, listen, last year I didn't come close to my goal, my weight goal of 185 pounds. Do you think I should push that up to 190? My wife said to me 185 wasn't enough. And so most people would take umbrage with that, but like I was like, you know,
as in you're trying to gain weight to get up to 185, 190 by building muscle.
That is a very nice way of interpreting that, my friend.
That's what I was confused about. You didn't. No. You weren't specific about whether you were trying to get up to 190 or down to 190.
That's fair.
We'll leave it up to the audience.
Yeah. Leave it up to the audience to figure that out. What about you, Gyi? What are you looking forward to this year?
Well, I do the same resolution every year, and that's more reading essentially, but trying to get about a book a week. I've lowered it, like you, I've recalibrated for this year, moved it from 52 books to 50, give myself a 2-week breather. Okay. But I'm on track. I've read 2 really great books. I read How to Think About AI by Richard Susskind, which I highly recommend. And which was, he spoke at ClioCon. And if you're not on Susskind, I would suggest you start to understand kind of what he's thinking. And then I read Abundance by Ezra Klein and Nicholas Thompson, I believe. If I'm screwing up the authors, I apologize. But and honestly, that one, it's not a new book. I don't know. Have you read Abundance?
I have not.
It's it really shows you some examples of where we've really gone stray. Hopefully we can.
You need to go to the library to find ways of how we have gone astray.
Well,
talk about things to look forward to in 2026, right?
I mean, look, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, anyway, I recommend it.
Anyway,
what else are we talking about today, Conrad?
So this is always one of our top 10 episodes, our crystal ball, Conrad's crystal ball. I go back as we get the Christmas decorations and put them back in the attic, walk behind those Christmas decorations to that box that contains the crystal ball at which Gyi and I gaze into and pontificate about what is going to happen in the upcoming 12 months, as well as starting out that episode, grading our own pontifications from 2025.
Mr. Lockwood, hit that music.
Welcome to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing, teaching you how to promote, market, and make fat stacks for your legal practice. Here on Legal Talk Network.
Welcome to Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. As always, we will start with the news. All right, Gyi, appropriately, we're going to start out 2026 with some news about AI. What are we hearing about?
Yes, as reported by Barry Schwartz at Search Engine Roundtable, Apple Intelligence and Siri to be powered by Google Gemini. This is a massive move. This is a very strong move for Google, having Apple Intelligence and Siri, essentially, I mean, powered by, trained by Gemini, really strong play, in my opinion, for Google. And again, I've been long on, I remember when people were making fun of Gemini when it first came out, Google's dead, OpenAI is killing Google. I'm like, we'll see about that. Well, here we are. I don't think Google's dead.
Are you saying I was right all along? Are you gloating?
What did you say? What did you say all along? Oh, you're saying am I gloating?
You're gloating.
No, look, I'm all for it. Competition's good, but I think this partnership is really strong play for Google.
All right.
And I think from a marketer, I put it in the marketing context, keep your eyes on what's going on with what Google's doing. Keep your eyes on AI mode. Keep your eyes on what Gemini's sourcing, how Gemini is responding to things. Keep your eye on some of the AI search leaders like Mike King, because I think that's where we're headed here, and we'll get to predictions in a minute.
What else? Anything else in the news you want to mention?
Well, as we sit here on January 13th, on January 11th, Google announced a new open standard for agentic commerce and AI tools for retailers. Now, you might be like, Gyi, this is for commerce and retailers. Yeah. What's this have to do? But this is the example to watch, because it's going to be this world of agents taking action. And in the search context, it is going to be machines taking action based on user input. And so I think this is a good paradigm for lawyers to watch as we move into this new environment.
And finally, Gyi, you have a book shout out that I am very excited to hear about. We talked about books earlier.
Yes. I had the opportunity to take a look at Jay Ruane's, at least a manuscript before he launched. Thanks for that opportunity, Jay. Great book, people. The title is Analog Marketing in a Digital World, a blueprint for attorneys to dominate local markets by being human. Get it, folks. Jay is extremely generous with his knowledge and experience here. And I think, I told Jay, like, reading this, I'm like, this is a great articulation of where I see us headed. Like, and a lot of it, you look at it, it's a lot of traditional stuff, but anyway, check it out. It's great.
Check it out. We might do more with that, because you and I talk a lot about the importance of omnichannel. We're digital nerds, 100% see the value of playing all the chess pieces. And so maybe we'll have more of Jay.
We might have to have some Jay on LHLM here.
All right, everyone. If you are watching this on YouTube, you will see my fantastic partial beard. But while you're looking at my beard, please like, subscribe, ask us a question, keep the conversation going. Some of our best content comes from questions from listeners just like yourself. And as this is the 2026 Crystal Ball episode, if you want to listen to the 2025 Crystal Ball episode, it's actually really solid. And we'll put a link for that right in the comments. Let's take a break.
And we're back. And if you took Conrad's advice, you went and listened to the 2025 Crystal Ball episode so that you would be prepared as we discuss our predictions and how well and poorly we did. Conrad, let us begin the assessment.
All right.
You predicted the deployment of AI avatars and mass content spamming. What do you think you did? How do you think you did?
So the interesting thing is the AI assessment of our AI expectations noted that we failed on this. But I'm going to call this a huge, obvious layup, no-brainer. We saw spam, to quote someone in the White House, like never before. And it's become, the content is problematic. The spam is problematic. Social media profiles are getting bastardized. My email inbox is being full of spam from people who are looking at my LinkedIn profile. I think that's a clear win, Gyi.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you just said. What's
Very
the cure? What's the cure?
Well, I believe this was another one of our predictions, right?
All right. Well, let's get there then. All right. Okay. So we're giving you that one. Although I got to say this, I'm going to push back a little. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
But I'm going to push back a little bit because even though I think we're on the front edge of the problem that AI video avatars and AI video and deepfakes and all this stuff is coming around the corner. And I think that's something maybe that might be a prediction for this year, but hasn't been a huge problem. It's funny. I don't listen to the radio much, to be honest with you, but I was in the car the other day, and some local radio station was talking about Blake Shelton. And apparently Blake Shelton, there are rumors, there is all this AI content, images, videos, and all this stuff. And he's like, I don't believe a single thing on the internet. And that kind of hit me. And anyway, I think, again, like, to me, like, the answer is that you have it's the authenticity, it's the trust. Because in a world where you're like, I don't trust anything that I see.
Yeah. Do you think we've switched to that place where we don't really trust anything that we see on the interwebs?
We're down the path, but we're not there yet. And and part of it, though, I think is healthy that we're more skeptical of things that we see, but a lot of people don't view through that lens, unfortunately. So,
especially those of you who are interested in politics. But
moving on.
What was our next one? Moving on. Gyi, what was your prediction on this?
I predicted there'd be more social results in Google, an increase in what people are saying, results from social media leading to more social content and YouTube results in Google search. And I actually said, I gave myself a fail on that one. And I was expecting more, but, and we'll see if I screw this up, and for the benefit of people on YouTube that are watching this, I am going to try to share an example of this and where I think that this is headed. Here we are. Who are the best car accident lawyers near me? This is an AI mode, and you're seeing these social media updates that are attached to the one box. I don't think you need to be in AI mode necessarily to see these, but I suspect we're going to start seeing more of this social sentiment content right in the surface. And I think unless some of it goes to this point of, like, there's all this AI. Now, whether or not they're able to distinguish AI slop from actual user-generated content is another question for another day. But there's clearly a user desire to get this kind of content, social content, review content, testimonial content, video content, YouTube content, into this surface.
My next one was a large law firm will be made an example of for fake reviews, causing mass panic and hysteria among the legal industry that has been spamming the crap out of reviews for the past 3 to 5 years, depending on what practice area you're in.
And how did you do, Conrad?
I was a complete fail on this. And by the way, for those of you, just some inside baseball here, Gyi and I were actually tipped off about this. When we made the prediction, it was a kind of a sure bet. Because we were tipped off that something was coming. We even knew who was going to be made an example of. And yet it didn't happen. So,
Conrad, do you know of any law firms that are going to be made an example of for fake reviews?
For fake reviews?
Or for
not for fake reviews.
What about for tortious interference of a Google business profile?
Wow. Like what do you mean by that, Gyi?
Do you see people out there doing things maliciously to Google business profiles? I see it.
Okay, everybody, stay tuned for a later episode in which we reveal the methodology and possibly even the perpetrator who was vandalizing Google business profiles at a mass scale. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. Okay. All right. Next one, Gyi.
Continued move to branding from direct response, shift from direct response advertising toward brand building authenticity. I mean, to me, I'm giving myself a green on this one.
100%.
There we go. Give me my little bell.
Ding, ding.
And we're going to see more of this. I mean, because again, to me, this is the cure back to everybody's fake. And again, people, I wrote about this and people were like, oh, you're against AI. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm all for AI, but it's how not all of us are using it the same way. We'll leave it like that. Okay.
All right, next one. More business acumen among law firm ownership. That is a 100% yes. We're seeing really smart people, COOs, CFOs, CMOs. Some of them are even qualified to do the job. But that is 100% something that has happened. And that will continue to happen. And we will start seeing the non-legal CEO. That is going to become a thing.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. It's funny. I was joking in the pre-show that is this just a reflection of like who we're surrounding ourselves with? But look, more sophisticated business acumen is going to become table stakes when you're competing against what you're going to be competing against.
100%. All right, next, Gyi, what's up?
Authenticity, cuts through the AI noise. I feel like maybe I cheated here because this is overlapping with the branding thing. Yeah, again, you read these stories that people share online, and you listen to the other podcasts of lawyers talking about what's going on at their firm. The firms that are beating the net, that are competing. I'm not going to say beating, competing in their local communities by leaning into the relationships, the leadership in the community, who they are, why they do what they do, letting people in. They're making a connection that some of these other worthy rivals will not be able to do. And I think that we're going to continue to see that.
Is this happening at scale? Or do we just have a couple of unique outliers that we know because we live in this world?
I think both. I think it's going to look, there's going to be two pressures, right? There's going to be some, they're going to be just like forced out. They're like, I can't, I'm leaning into spend more to try to compete with these folks. The cost for acquisition goes through the roof. Smaller players just either they get bought or they retire or something else. The ones that are going to be able to steal market share are going to be the ones who, in my view, are leaning into this authentic approach, because again, it's not that complicated. You just go kind of through the list. You're like, what can I do that they can't do? And this is part of that story.
All right. The next one for me was political. I said immigration and criminal defense booming in 2025. I don't think that's happening. I think the immigration issues, and I don't have any data on this, by the way. The immigration, the way the government has chosen to handle immigration is not through the legal process. And so I don't see this as a booming industry in the same way that, do you remember back during the COVID days, everyone was kind of moving into bankruptcy, right? Because we were assuming all this doom and gloom. I just don't see that happening. I don't know if you're seeing it otherwise, Gyi, but that's my read.
Well, it's funny, when you made this prediction last year, I probably made some sarcastic comment that alluded to the fact that, is there going to be a need? Yes. And I think that if your prediction is there's going to be a need for immigration lawyers and criminal defense lawyers, I think you're right. Now, how that plays out from a market standpoint, depending on a lot of factors, that's, I think, what the question is. But I don't know. I would say this. I think at some point, and I know that you are quick to bandy about the full collapse of everything, but assuming the apocalypse doesn't happen in that context, I would say that eventually these types of practices are going to be, because again, I'm like trying to distinguish between like, okay, the demand is there,
sure,
the clients are there, but they're being blocked. And so I think that blockage at some point,
that's my point. Yeah.
That will, I think that's going to change. It's a question of when.
Okay.
My view.
All right. Last one, or penultimate one.
More consolidation. I think ding, ding, ding. Ring that bell. We got consolidation of law firms. We've got this, we've talked about sitting on this, Bob Simon hosted this talk on MSOs and private equity coming to legal. It was really good. Folks should check that out. We've got consolidation in our world. We got some consolidation that's soon to be announced, I think, in the coming weeks that, more consolidation.
You want to announce it now?
Nope.
You want to announce that?
And so I think a lot of business owners and lawyers are going to be asking this question of like, is now the time to compete? Or is it the time to purchased or do something else.
And finally, Gyi, we were both wrong.
Too soon.
Too soon? It is too
well,
soon.
did we predict that did we predict a victory? We were hopeful for one.
I listen, I'm going to guess, and I haven't listened to the episode acutely enough to remember the answer to this question. I'm gonna go back and suggest that you and I both said Michigan will beat Ohio State because we are flagrant fanboys and would rather go down on the ship than equivocate in any other way. So
that sounds
we both
right.
failed on that.
Oh.
Oh, jeez, even worse, Adam. Yeah, that was a
That's
bummer.
a good one.
Okay,
That's
next year,
one.
do we win or lose, dude? Do we make the playoffs? Do we win or lose? Quick. And then we got to talk more about legal shit.
I'm going to say win because I'm such a homer.
Okay, game on.
So bad. I think we're going to...
Is Ryan Day still there?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
All right. To me, Ryan
after
Day's
a loss, you think he's gone this offseason?
I think there's stuff going on. I think he's out. I think he's looking.
That is a tough job. What a tough job.
Yeah. So Michigan victories all around next year. National championship, no, but beat Ohio State, yes, correct? Okay.
Let's be in the playoffs. Let's be in the playoffs.
Okay.
We got a lot of people in the transfer portal though, so we'll see. But Marshall's staying. At least maybe this will change.
There should be a change in the transfer portal. I'm not a football guy. But I can't even keep my Facebook feed going with who's going where. It's like recruiting the entire class every year. It's ridiculous.
Tough job.
When we come back, our predictions, what you've all been waiting for, what is going to happen in 2026 from Gyi and Conrad.
Don't snooze on your SEO news from the People's Attorney. Thank you, the People's Attorney, for leaving us a 5-star review. Any law firm owner and attorney in general should be listening to this podcast. It's not only informative, it's entertaining. Gyi and Conrad do a great job of dumbing down difficult SEO Google topics so it's easy to digest. Go listen. Thank you so much, the People's Attorney. Thank you to everybody else who's listening. Keep those reviews coming. That's the feedback you have as a listener to tell us what you think. We're grateful for it. Keep the reviews coming and, reach out to us. We'd love to hear some of your predictions for 2026. What's on your mind? What do you think's coming around the corner?
All right. You ready for our predictions? Let me pull out the crystal ball. Gyi, I'm going to dust that off.
Yeah, maybe I say this every year, but I am so envious that it's Conrad's crystal ball.
Well, it's the alliterative. It could have been Gyi's guesses.
Not as good.
It's not as good.
Gyi's guesses.
All right.
We'll stick with Conrad's crystal ball.
I'm pulling this out of the box. I'm looking in. It's fuzzy. Oh. When you rub the crystal ball, it makes that noise.
Yeah. And with the magic of AI, this should for sure be a movie. This should for sure be a video clip. Conrad rubbing the crystal ball. There you go.
Gyi, the first thing that I see coming out very clearly for me is smaller law firms we talked about this last time, but continuing to move away from direct response, specifically pay-per-click and local service ads. And the prediction from last year was a diversification away from those direct response vehicles. My read on this at this point in time is that it is increasingly difficult for the smaller firms to successfully play in those direct response channels for two reasons. Number one, the economics, the efficiently run large firms have better economics from a scale perspective, and therefore are willing to accept higher cost per clients, and they are also able to reduce cost per clients because of their efficiency. And so I think that will happen. And the second reason for this is local service ads are currently really stacked towards large advertisers, right? And that is just something that we've seen over and over again. The more you spend on local service ads, the more you are going to be able to spend on local service ads. So it is a self-reinforcing thing that the larger firms will continue to play well in those games because they have larger budgets, and the larger budgets make larger budgets happen. So that is my prediction for pay-per-click and LSAs. The smaller firms are going to have to move away from them, or they are going to be in peril.
I think you were making a lot of sense there, Conrad. Well, my first prediction is, I said more in quotes AI mode. And what I mean by that, I think 26 is the year that we see. I don't know if AI mode is going to be the default surface in search, but it's certainly going to be increasingly prominent. And I think there's a good chance that, for lack of a better way of articulating it, because I think these AI mode features are going to be in regular search results. Does that mean it's like the default surface? I don't want to quibble about that, but I think that this is the year they quote unquote, flip the switch. And it probably won't be a switch flip, so to speak. It'll be more gradual, but this year I think you get ready for even more AI coming to the default search experience on Google.
All right. And as I look, maybe we are looking at the same ball. I'm seeing the close cousin of your concept. You talked about AI from a marketing perspective. I think the biggest wins for AI this year, I'm going to predict there are going to be 2 widely adopted AI technologies that are not revolutionizing anything. They're just making the business of law work better. I don't know what those are, but I'm going to read a quote from Ryan McKean because I had this thought, and then I literally saw this on Facebook from Ryan. Ryan says the biggest AI wins for law firms aren't flashy. Start with the basics, a real system of record, automated note-taking, and phone systems that summarize calls. These aren't future of law toys. They're table stakes. Get the fundamentals right, and you don't just add AI to your firm, you change how the firm operates. So I think there are going to be some obvious, simple AI wins in how the firm operates. And those of you who don't jump on that, that's going to be a differentiator for you because you are going to be operating even less efficiently.
Well, I'm going to make a distinction here.
Okay.
Because as Ryan is alluding to, the piece that's really a problem for a lot of these firms is the underlying data and the hygiene of the underlying data. You can upload all sorts of stuff into pick your favorite LLM. But if the underlying data is bad, it's garbage, guess what you get? Garbage. And so, to Ryan's point, he's talking about real system of record, note-taking, phone systems. It's the tagging, it's the canonicalization, it's the naming structures, like all that stuff has to be right to really leverage the AI layer on top of it. And I think what I'm seeing is this. I'm seeing a lot of, oh, great, AI will fix it. And it's all based on data that has all sorts of problems. And we see in the marketing context all the time where I'm like, you're not ready for advanced media management until you fix this underlying data issue.
And the human element of that is we have a high level of confidence in AI, despite all of the examples otherwise. And so you have underlying bad data and you become certain in the AI conclusions of that data, and then you are just dumb.
That is 100% right. It's almost better to have no data than bad data because on net you have more confidence when there's some data, even if it's wrong.
Okay.
I love that.
Enter job security for Gyi and Conrad.
Right. Okay. More law firm consolidation is my next prediction. Private equity, managed service organizations. Folks, you got to go look this stuff up. Go type it into your favorite GPTs. Start to get a sense of what's going on. Follow what Bob Simon is talking about. Bob's not the only one talking about this. It's all over the place. You really need to be conscientious of what's going on in this environment. And in my other prediction is that the smart firms are going to educate their communities about this stuff. And forgetting about regulatory, forgetting about separating administrative from law practice, all the ethics issues and all that kind of stuff. The question that I would pose if I was a local law firm is, do you care that this firm is being run by a private equity company? Like it or not, about the law practice part. And I think people will. And I think that some segment of the consumers is going to choose to work with the local provider. Now, people that have followed major consolidations in other industries will be like, you're wrong, Gyi. Most people are going to choose, and especially in the context where it's not PI, where it's like, you're shopping on price and stuff like that. But that is the commoditization route. And unless you are going to compete in the commoditization world, you need to educate your local community and distinguish yourself and the reasons why consumers would choose you as opposed to these other larger players.
And the flip side of that is also, in my opinion, with all of that money comes a level of sophistication to this industry that and I do not mean to speak down to the audience.
Yeah,
but like I'm not being mean on purpose.
That's right.
I'm just pointing out the reality. I'm genuinely an asshole, is what you're saying, Gyi. No, my point
here
is...
You love lawyers.
I love lawyers. That is our first of 10 commandments. I come back to that. But you guys didn't go to school to learn how to run a business. This is a common theme. My flip is there's a lot to be learned. So you may hate the money coming in. You may hate the consolidation. I hate the fact that I don't have any hair anymore. Neither of those two things are going to change. And so there's
don't
a
count
lot
technology
to be
out, man. Don't count technology out.
By the way, if I ever show up on the LHLM podcast with some amazing locks, like, just don't.
I won't say anything. But yeah, you're right. There's a ton to learn, and
there's a ton to learn.
Yeah, and that's what that's what I would say to folks. I'm like, look, even if you hate this, even if you have no intention of getting involved in this at any level, it behooves you to understand so that you can position yourself against it.
My next prediction is a 180 on my fail from last year when I predicted a massive crackdown by either Google or the federal government on specifically fake reviews. But I would also include in that fake social media accounts, fake social followers, etc. The law is very clear. The implementation is basically zero. I am going to predict with a high level of certainty that Google, and even more so the federal government, is going to do absolutely nothing about this problem. And Google will probably actually exacerbate the problem because they know that no one seems to actually care. And so I will predict nothing is going to happen with regards to fake reviews at a large scale.
Unfortunately, I think you're probably right. We've been told many times that something's going to happen. And, you think about the incentives here, right? The only thing that I would say is, and I guess it's a question, and I think my cynical side already knows the answer, but does it get, you go back to what I'd said about Blake Shelton. Do the reviews get so ridiculous that nobody even uses the reviews anymore because they're so bad? Or are we so trained on reviews that we're still reliant on them? That's the Google side of the equation. Like, people are like, we don't use Google local business listings anymore because we know it's all fake. And then on the regulatory side, there have been some state attorney generals that have talked about it, but I haven't seen any big action. There've been some lawsuit threats, but I haven't seen anybody really get their wrists slapped. The FTC doesn't seem like in this environment it's making it a priority. And so
what's the FTC in this environment?
And I would say the only regulatory body that would do something might be state bars. And I know that lawyers in many states are laughing when I say that. And again, showing some empathy to these organizations. They're underfunded. They're trying to deal with a bunch of other issues. But at some point, I think someone has got to say, look, this is a much bigger problem than anybody realizes. And the harm doesn't seem as palpable because you're like, all right, people are making hiring decisions based on fake reviews. But that's a real problem. That's a real problem for people to say, hey, look, this lawyer, I'm just going to make an example up. Lawyer's been out of law school for a year, and they're the number one reviewed personal injury law firm in their area with thousands of reviews. Like, come on. And then someone hires that person.
You and I were on a call yesterday, right? We were on a call yesterday where someone talked about there's a new large firm that has just opened up 2 offices in that state. I believe it was Oklahoma. and they have thousands of reviews in the first 2 months, right? Like,
somebody do something. All right. Well, I guess we're up for my last one here.
You've got a last one. I know you do.
My last one is that Clio by Scorpion, which I honestly didn't think was going to happen. It just didn't make sense to me. And I don't know, vibes, a lot of vibes around this one.
So by the way, I'm going to take credit for calling this 6 months ago.
Maybe even you've been calling it since we've been talking about it.
So,
and in fact, I was pushing back. I was the one who said I didn't think it was going to happen. You know, they've got all sorts of business outside of legal. Like, does it make sense for Clio to buy them? And
it'll be interesting to see 12 months from now. It'll be called Clorpian. See what happens.
Yeah.
All right. We may have just lost Clio as an advertiser for the rest of our world. I mean, maybe would have gone back. I don't know. Okay. So we got that. Clio buying Scorpion. More consolidation. Maybe not. We'll see.
Yep. That's it.
Gyi, that was your worst outro you have ever done, ever. That's it. And for those listeners, normally I try sometimes to do the outro and I just fumble over myself. And so we've just kind of defaulted that I will never, ever do the outro because it just sounds bad. And Gyi just finished it with, that's it. So
you give me a chance. I haven't even started my outro yet.
I awkwardly waited watching you to see what was going to happen. And we just got that's it.
Sometimes I like to see you give it a try. All right, listeners. Thank you. Happy New Year. I'm still saying it. I haven't talked to you this New Year, so Happy New Year. Have a great 2026. As always, if you stumbled here, please do subscribe, follow us online, connect with us on LinkedIn. We want to hear from you. And when Conrad pulls everything together here, we'll be announcing a Lunch Hour Legal Marketing Summit date for 2026. Until next time.
That's like bad spousing. That's like throwing the invective out as you go out the door, man. You throw me under the bus like that.
They all know that it's not you. Come on. We're working on a date, folks. Thank you so much. Till next time, Lunch Hour Legal Marketing. Farewell.
Money makes a world go round. Money makes a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round. Yeah, money make a world go round.